Good morning, everybody. Welcome once again to another 7 to 9 pixel Tim day. And what's even crazy, what the heck? What in the world just happened there?
Oh, the banner.
Now we have a failed. This is just fun.
That's just the banner.
There we go.
Yeah, it's just a banner.
What a what a day. Oh man, I'm gonna miss T-Shroom in office with me every day, but man, am I ready for Atlanta. Get away from this stupid Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
And you guys can see in there the bottom left, it's not even really treating T-Shroom well this morning. And we sat here for many a moon this morning, all within a series of about 30 minutes.
A long while.
We spent many
a
a
long
moon
while
trying to fix this thing, and it's just not happening. So you know what? You guys are dedicated and amazing people who are going to continue to watch these pixels, despite the fact that they are horrendous. But that is not going to change the fact that we have a show to put on today because we got a lot of news coming out. First of all, we're continuing to see the unpacking of Russia as they move more to being crypto friendly. What does that mean? Also, Coinbase, of course, we've been talking about the potential that they might move outside of the United States. Is there potential they move to Bermuda? We're going to talk about that and a lot more. Also, Bitcoin is moving down. Technically, right now on the 4-hour chart, we do have a green candle again, but we are below 29,000. The question we have for you is, you think that Bitcoin is going to continue to move to the upside over the next couple of weeks, or is the rally over and potentially are we heading down, back down at least to double bottom our lows or even create new ones? We're going to talk about that and a whole lot more in this episode. So make sure you do not go anywhere. Maybe you don't have to watch the screen necessarily, though. This might be more of a radio show. I don't know at this point. Maybe that's what the internet's trying to tell us.
We're ready for
podcast radio.
We're ready for a podcast.
So it's going to be fun. Make sure you guys go ahead, smash that like button. I might not even ask you guys to subscribe today because I'm embarrassed on the quality of the video. But if you were a nice person, a kind person, you'd also subscribe for great content from the Investing Bros. I'm joined by these amazing guys sitting both on the screen beneath me, but one of them, maybe not. For all I know, T-Shroom, this is the last time you'll be sitting across the screen from me. Maybe tomorrow it's better that you just go from your house. How are you doing this morning, T-Shroom?
I'm doing a little blurry, more blurry than I deserve, Tim.
Oh, yeah.
So, but nonetheless, we're going to be hearing a lot from your boy, Elon Musk, a lot today in the news. He's been in the headlines. We got to talk about him a little bit with Crypto Archie yesterday on TA Talks, which was a blast. Tune in Wednesdays at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to catch TA Talks over there on the Chart Prime Discord. But speaking of Elon Musk, I've got a quote from him today. So let's go ahead and check that out right now. The quote from Elon Musk is as follows: "Don't confuse schooling with education. I didn't go to Harvard, but the people that work for me did." So that's Elon Musk.
It's true. It is all true. There's so many successful people who just do not have college educations. Not saying that you don't go to college. I know there's some people out there like, oh, college is terrible. It's like, hey, listen, I'm going to be glad that my doctor went to college and got his degree. I'm going to be glad that my lawyer went and got their degree. There's certain professions out there. It's like, hey, I'm glad you got some higher education.
But you know who has a university degree? Gary Gensler.
Ooh,
yeah.
Wow. I changed my mind then. You're right. Don't go to college, folks. You heard it here first. Speaking of college, did you go to college, Piper?
Yes.
Do you have a bachelor degree?
I have a bachelor's in business management and business communication. So
very, very similar to me.
T-Shroom, do you have a bachelor degree?
Yeah, I have a bachelor's in organizational management, which is probably the same material Piper studied.
But
I don't have a bachelor's degree, so I am the least educated person in this room.
But
which,
to be fair,
according to Elon Musk, makes me the smartest. So the joke's on you guys.
But to be fair, you cannot. It's almost impossible to make E8, E7, and E8 and higher without a degree in Intel because a majority of our non-commissioned officer education schooling is worth college credits because of the level of writing that we do. So,
interesting.
And E8 and E7 is referring to Army ranks.
Correct. Like Sergeant First Class, Master Sergeant, First Sergeant, Sergeant Major,
For those who have not had the pleasure to serve.
I'm curious in the chat, how many of you guys out there are college educated? Put a 1 if you have a bachelor degree or higher. Put a 2 if you do not have a college degree. I want to see what our audience looks like. And again, by the way, according to Elon Musk, us uneducated folk might be the more intelligent.
Just so you know, I am a high school dropout with a 10th grade education before I joined the Army. So, yeah, I turned it into something. So it's never too late. It's never too late, Tim.
That's awesome. I didn't know that.
It's like that. You guys ever read the comic Calvin and Hobbes? And he goes into his mom and he's like, "Mom, did you know that Albert Einstein was considered an idiot in elementary school and had terrible grades? Well, my grades are even worse." It's like, yeah, well, nice. There we go.
Just so you guys know, people are saying that the reason that you guys are fuzzy is because they're stoned on 420. So everyone else is just seeing this because it's not really this way. It's just them.
It could be. Well, if you guys could see my screen, today's episode is brought to you by sparkling water. I can't say it today, but today, orange cream bubbly. And I'm not going to lie. I think of the 3 we've had here recently, and you can't read that, so I might be lying to you, but it's a very delicious drink. I think it's better than blueberry pomegranate for sure. Cherry was good with the caffeination, but I think that orange cream.
Ooh, that sounds good.
It might take the cake on this one.
Does it taste like those old push-ups? Does it like the old push-up popsicles, you know?
It tastes like an orange creamsicle that they took all the sugar out of, but you still get that orange cream kind of notes.
You keep going. I'm gonna have to go over there and steal away that bubbly from you.
You might have to. You might have to. Well, let's go ahead and get in here. We're probably a little bit behind. It's always a fun morning. It's also great when we got up. I think we were at 80 concurrent, and then all of the nonsense with the camera and the drinks and everything, we drove them away. There's only 46 of them now. It's okay though. We still love all of you guys. Let's read some names.
Get this internet fixed, man.
You gotta get it fixed. It's all right though. Crypto doesn't care. Crypto keeps doing its thing. The first comment, excuse me, got some bubbly in my throat. We got a mellow fellow is first once again. So he did get that bot fixed up. And right behind him was Mr. Justin Eubanks. So shout out to those 2 gentlemen coming in first this morning. Elliot Locke was not far behind, coming in 3rd place. We also have Mike Play is here. Mr. J, Eric Wallen, Alton Henderson, Spee with the three E's. So we wanted to make sure we pronounced that correctly. So he just continued it. Spee is here. Who else do we have? Ninja Glock is here again. Welcome back, my friend. Who else? Jeff Sullivan is here. Gia S. John Kahn. Alex Green is here saying, yo, homies. What's up, homie? Crypto Pew Pew Cruz is in the building. Joe Nickel is here. Eric Browning is here. Crypto Ben Franklin, Bobby Smoot, Curtis Rorick. Get a couple more here. We're a little behind, so we're not read less names today. But Crypto Military Vet, Crypto JMP, Al Bundles, and let's go 3 more. 3 more. Ebb and Flow Crypto 1, Crypto Trades 2. Oh, I saved the perfect one for the last name. Servando Estrada. Oh, yes. There we go. Guys, if I didn't read your name, I'm so sorry. It's not that I don't love you. It is because we're behind a little bit.
I do want to give a shout. I want to give a shout out to Spee, though. He's one of our members in the Chart Prime community. He's a subscriber, so I'm going to give him a shout out myself.
Good job, Spee. You get 2 shout outs today. We're going to go ahead and transition into our content, though, guys. Starting off with our economic outlook with Mr. Piper himself. So enjoy, for the brief second, some HD camera action before we return to our blurry stream.
Coming at you live and in high def, everybody. Welcome. And for those that are listening to this, driving or sitting at work, enjoy the podcast, non-pixelated. It is the best way to enjoy the Investing Bros show. Taking a look here, guys. We had this morning coming out in the European area, balance of trade up 4.6 billion euro. It was negative 31 previously, and they were forecasted to be down. Actually came up in balance of trade, so that's pretty good for them. But initial jobless claims, that was the big one today that we were watching in the U.S. here, and it was previously at 240,000 initial jobless claims. That means that people claimed a loss of a job in this week. Consensus was that it was going to be 240 again this week. The forecast was that it was going to be 244,000 this week. It actually came in at 245,000. So, yay, a lot of people lost jobs, but yay, boo, a lot of people lost jobs. Yay, the market's like that. So, a little uptick in the markets now. So, what's that?
I was just going to say, you sounded a little Scrooge-like there, cheering for people losing their jobs.
The markets like it, though. I mean, the markets do like when jobs are down, because it means that old Jerome Powell might have to pump the brakes a little bit. And let's go ahead and jump over to Tim. Tim, what are you seeing on the FOMC now?
Well, we are gonna. It just decided to stay exactly where we left it yesterday. I did refresh my screen. I was like, "Oh, is this just because the screen didn't update?" Nope. We're still sitting at 86%, saying we're gonna have a 25 basis point rate hike. And oh, would you look at that? Right on cue, Beamer is barking. He wants to be on the show this morning. I think we have pressure washer guys coming back today, so that's always fun.
Oh, sick!
I
doubt they'll do the same side of the house that we're on, because they did that yesterday at the end of the show.
Gainesville,
gotta love Beaver.
Good riddance to Gainesville. At this point, I'm ready to get out of here. Anyway, let's keep going on here, though. So this is staying the same. Our Bitcoin fear and greed index, on the other hand, though, did shift pretty dramatically. And again, we're back in neutral. We're back down to 52 after being back up at 63 yesterday. The volatility in the Bitcoin price action is not that heavy right now, but the volatility of the fear and greed index is pretty intense. We have been jumping around. You guys can see after a long time. This is, I think, on the 1 month chart, or is this? Yeah, 1 month. So it kind of got really boring there, but over the last couple of days, we're starting to make some moves here in the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index. And this is going to transition us into the TA for this morning. Also has to do a lot with the title. Let me go ahead and jump over here. Here's my question for you guys. I asked it in the poll. Right now, a lot of you guys are saying yes. My question, in case you have not voted, we only have 70. It's crazy. We have 56 watching, 70 votes. I don't know if YouTube's doing something weird with us right now, or people just came in, they hated my blurry face, and then they left. It's completely fine. I love them anyway. People can do that if they want. But they did decide to vote before they left, so that's kind of nice. I asked, are you still confident that Bitcoin will move to the upside in the next couple of weeks? 76% right now are saying yes. 24% saying no. Here's what we do need to go. I have some good news for you guys. As the title suggests, Bitcoin bears have momentum, but here's where they will fail. I'm going to show you guys here in just a second. We might not even have that much Bitcoin TA. We might be able to do a lot more Ethereum and altcoin TA here, even within the first half hour, because I'm going to keep this nice and simple when it comes to Bitcoin. But I got to start off by giving some of the bad news here. When I say that the Bitcoin bears have momentum, what I'm talking about is on the 4-hour and 1-hour chart. Now, remember, guys, we've been talking about this a lot. Over here, using the chart prime indicator, fantastic indicator, especially, again, I'm in love with this oscillator. Notice that we have been respecting the bearish calls here. And there's only one really. I mean, there's two kind of here on the 4-hour chart. But we have started to ignore the bullish ones. What am I talking about? Yes, technically we rallied about 4% after an oversold with a green triangle, but we did get bullish divergence with a green triangle here yesterday, right there. And look at that. Bitcoin, the bears said, hey, we're going to ignore that. What does that tell me? I'm going to show you more of this on the hourly chart. That tells me that on this time frame, we are not trading sideways anymore. The bears have gained control. Obviously, when I zoom out to a more macro outlook, we're still setting higher highs and higher lows. Not that worried about that. When you start to shift down here to the 4-hour chart, and it gets even worse when you come down to the hourly chart, just within this time frame, we are setting lower highs and lower lows. So this is what I'm talking about. Even look at all of these predicted reversal ups that the bullish claim that has been ignored. Boom. This one was not bad. We kind of traded sideways and then had a little bit of rally. But look at these other ones we've been ignoring, where the last time we had a predicted reversal down, it respected it. That was the peak. And then we moved to the downside. Then you come over here and you look at this red triangle. Boom. Perfect. We had an oversold. Didn't really respect it. We had bullish divergence. Didn't really respect it. We come back up, though, get a little bit overbought with a red triangle. We definitely respected that one. And then, of course, right here, oversold. Now, bears push through it. Bullish divergences, no, bears push through it. So right now, I do need to be the bearer of bad news. We're moving to the downside. And I think that we have a little bit further to go. Does not change my macro outlook. I'm watching this right now, and I want to, there's an outside chance we end up keeping this support. This support level right here is the support level of our megaphone pattern. I add a second line because you really should have more of a zone here. You guys can see that we've most part stayed on the top of the top zone, but there have been wicks and candles that come down lower. So I did add a second line just for a zone. And at the moment, we are still respecting this. However, this is where another bearish thing comes in, and it's what transitions me into, hey guys, I want to give you guys hope for what is happening here. And here's the reason why, even though the bears are in control right now, that control that they have might be coming to a close here very, very quickly. Now, here on the 4-hour chart, we have the dynamic reactor up with chart prime, and this is another bearish sign. We just flipped it and turned it red once again. This is bearish, guys. This is something we've been respecting the 4-hour dynamic reactor. We have not been red all the way since back here on the 13th of March. This is something definitely to keep your eyes on. However, what have I been talking about now for a long time, comparing what our current move looks like back to history? Let's go ahead and say it with me. Type it in chat. The bull trend of 2019. Let's go back and look at that. I have it pulled up for you guys. This is what the bull trend, or this bullish trend looked like if you went back to 2019. I want you guys to just kind of stay with me on this and watch all of the similarities of how this price has moved. After we bottomed out, I'm on the 4-hour chart here, we traded sideways and then we began a rally, but there's several points where we kind of have these sticklers. We kind of trade sideways. There's times where it looks like maybe the bears are taking back control. If I go back over here, same exact thing. We hit the bottom. If I scroll out, we hit the bottom, we trade sideways, we come back up there several times where it looks like the bears take back control. However, we push up, and this is where I really want to get into this. Look at some of these similar moves. We have a move up, a big dip where the bears take control for one 4-hour candle. We move right back up, double top, come back down, continue to form these U's as we trade sideways before we get one more good wick, and then we make another push to the upside. And now price is starting to fall back down towards that level. Let's go back to 2019 and let me zoom in for you guys. Look at what we did almost similarly. Big push up. We have a little bit of a U right here. Continue to trade sideways. We make one more good dip right here, and then we push up, trade sideways, come back down. We drop below the 4-hour dynamic reactor. We come back down almost identically to this same exact wick level. Back then, this was 7,400, but now this would be, if we were to fast forward now, this would be potentially a price all the way down to 27,237. So when we say here, watch what we're doing similar, we are doing almost the identical move we did back in 2019. And of course, after being below the 4-hour dynamic reactor here for just a couple of days, we shot up and went all the way up here towards 13,800, back up to the golden pocket. Absolutely, this is what I'm still saying I think is happening today. And this makes a lot of sense, even though we're sitting on support right here. And the next level that a lot of people will be looking at will be 25,200. Do not be surprised at all if we see the price of Bitcoin come back down to this wick level. We've seen some whales moving some Bitcoin around. We've seen a lot of manipulative FUD articles and FOMO articles trying to mess with your retail investor brain. Do not be surprised if we start dropping below this support level. This gives that FUD in the market that says, there you go, guys. The bears are fully in control. They're ready to take over. And they're going to say the next place to watch is 25.2. And then sure enough, all the whales, all the manipulative people, they start buying it at 27.2 because they know then they can get a push up here towards 42, 50,000, take their profit later and set up for a bull market down the road. That's all I'm going to talk about today. I'm going to throw it to Piper here in just a second, but I want to make sure you guys understand, keep your eyes on this, because even though we're moving to the downside, and some people, it doesn't look like our audience is here yet, but a lot of people are going to start shifting to be more bearish for good reason. The bears are showing to be in control. However, this is still identical to the move that we made back in 2019. And for that reason, I do believe the bears are winning for now, but they're about to start losing in a big, big way. I'm going to throw it over to Piper now. Piper, I want to get your take on what you're seeing on Bitcoin, what your thoughts are about what I just showed. And then also, if you want, you can go ahead and jump into Ethereum.
Awesome. Let's do that. So taking a look here, and actually just, I don't know what's going on, you guys, but I think I'm pulling a little bit of your bad internet problems today. So mine's even slowing down a little bit. Yep. So looking here on the Ethereum 12-hour right now, guys, we're taking a look here. Let me go ahead and pull this up here. Here we go. Just to show you guys this fib strat that I had on here. Yes, I told you guys I closed half my trade up here on this trade. Took half my profit. It actually came down and is currently right now sitting right about at my entry level. So, you know, half of it was taken out. I closed out half right before it fell through there. And now I've got like a quarter of my original into my trade. So there's an update on that one there. However, if I go ahead and drop the fib strat off here, let's go ahead and throw on a fib retracement, see what we got here. Because there's a couple of things to see here. One is going to be this fib retracement. We are still sitting above the 236 here, which is a good thing right here. I think that as long as we hold that as support, we'll be okay. That's going to be coming in at about 1820. If we go ahead and do this, though, I want to show you guys something here. One, I want to throw on this trend regression, and you'll see we're hitting the bottom of that right now. And then the other one is, and I got to check and see what this is set on, because for some reason, I think it's set on the, yeah, there we go. We want this to be on the 12 hour. So let's go ahead and put 12 hour there. There we go. You can see this trend parallel channel that we've been running in here. We broke out of it. We had a little fake out on it here, but now we're still on the bottom of this. So I'm not too worried about Ethereum right now, because with this regression trend and with that parallel channel, we're pretty much playing right in line with it, getting a lot of support on this upper resistance band that was resistance previously here, broke up through it off of these predictive ranges, and right now sitting right there on it. So that's what I'm seeing on Ethereum for the chart itself. Let's go ahead and take a look down here and see what we see on the oscillator and on the MACD. MACD histogram still coming down, not turning into a light pink yet, still showing that red on the histogram. MACD signal and MACD line did get across back in here at that point right there when we broke this trend line. However, it does look like we're starting to get a little curvature on this. It's not exactly straight and flat anymore. So this could be starting to slowly come around so we can get across back up. And then lastly on the oscillator, guys, right over here, when we had this overbought, we did get this possible reversal down right at this level. Had a few little wickups here where it tried to fight against this reversal and the price action that was coming down with it. And you can see that we got the ribbon twist and down she came, breaking the zero line here in the past 12 hours or so, 24 hours, and still pushing down in through this. I will say, though, that once price gets outside of this cloud here, we do tend to see reversals a lot of times on the price. So I'm going to be watching for this to start to round off here in the next 12 hours and see if we can get a break back above the zero line. However, it is possible this could curve in and then bounce on the zero line, giving us more downside. So not seeing anything overly bullish right now on the 12 hour. Let's drop down into the 4 hour, see how that's looking for us. Yeah, you'll see here on the 4 hour, we did hit off of the bottom here and pushing back up into the cloud. So this is a little bit of short-term hopium on the 4 hour. And on the 4 hour, we're also getting a bounce off of our dynamic reactor and this long-term trend line here. So, I think in the next 4 hours, we could get some upside, but we're going to have to see how it plays out on this 12 hour and see how this oscillator and this MACD start to flip for us. So that's what I got there, Tim. I'm going to kick it back over to you, and we will go into wherever you want to go, because you're the boss. You're the man. You run this.
Well, I mean, it's the same thing going on here. Yeah, we're gonna probably do some altcoins here in just a second, but even on Ethereum, I want to bring your guys' attention. Go back to my screen here, Piper. Similar things to what I'm saying about Bitcoin. Let's go back. This is what Ethereum currently looks like, right? Forget the megaphone pattern for just a second. Just look at some of the movements it's made. Same thing going back over here. If we go to Ethereum back in 2019, do not be surprised. It did the exact same thing where we started rallying up. We had a nice big dip. And then a couple of days later, after having that nice dip, it starts to run back up to the upside. If this plays out, I think this is where it starts to reverse down. So I just went to the peak of it. But this is the thing that like a lot of bears are going to be taking the liberty of saying, hey, they've been winning. And by the way, I mean, good for them. You know, they've been losing for a while now. I've seen a lot of people that are bearish calling for, let's go back over here, calling for reversals. They see all these signals. I mean, look at all these signals that have been great for bulls and terrible for bears, even over here on Ethereum. Just all these overboughts that are just not working out. These predicted reversal downs. They finally had one good right there, but they just had a bunch of predicted reversal downs that were not great necessary calls because the bulls were in control. Right now on shorter timelines, the bears are in control. The bulls do not have full control of what's happening in the market, and the bears are going to start rearing their heads. The problem, though, is the reason I want to caution people that are bearish right now is say, hey, you're winning for the moment, but remember, we went through something almost identical to this back in 2019. This is still part of a bullish trend in the market as a whole, not only for Bitcoin, but for Ethereum, and watch the altcoins do the exact same. What I am going to be curious to watch here is, despite the fact that the bears have taken back control, let me go back over to my normal screen, and let's go to the Bitcoin dominance chart here. We're back hovering back up towards this resistance level. Of course, this was a big deal, everybody, that Bitcoin dominance, it broke a very long-term resistance level. I'll go out to the daily chart, actually, would be an easier way to see this. It broke a very long time, all the way back to 2021 resistance level, and then it's fallen back down into it. However, as the bears have seemed to take more control, the bulls on the Bitcoin dominance are starting to climb back up. I still believe we're going to see something above 50, but I was looking at this a little bit more, and this will be the last thing I think actually for now for TA, and we'll probably end up then going over and doing some stocks, and then in the third half hour we'll cover more altcoins as well. But let's look at the dominance.
We got a lot of requests for ADA, so we'll do that.
Okay, well, we might even be able to take a quick look at ADA. But let's go back to 2019 and specifically those same months and periods of 2019. Let's go back here. So what we're looking at is, what did Bitcoin dominance do between February and June of 2019? So February would be right here. It started to actually fall during the beginning of the rally. Let me kind of bounce back and forth for you guys. Let's go back to Bitcoin here, and then let's go back to the daily chart, and we're gonna go back to 2019, and you guys can kind of keep up with me on the timelines here. So like I said, back in February, back here, 2019, this is when we're still kind of trading sideways, but the rally starts to kind of make some momentum. We go back to the dominance chart, and we go back to that same timeline. Here we go, February. We start to kind of fall a little bit. The altcoins actually were making some momentum. But then here in April, Bitcoin makes a nice little push. Well, what happened in April back on the Bitcoin chart? Come on now, screen mess. Don't mess with me like that. April is when we actually start to make some really good momentum with Bitcoin. So we're kind of tracking with that. That's similar to what's happening right now. Let's go back over here, though. Where we peaked out was actually in May on the dominance, and then throughout all the way to June, which is where Bitcoin peaked, we actually saw the dominance fall before the dominance on Bitcoin just started to climb. Going back to that same timeline, I'm actually watching this right now. I would not be surprised to see, we're kind of hovering right in this region as well. I'm not going to be surprised that as Bitcoin makes its push up into the 40s, possibly all the way to 50,000, if we see the dominance chart continue to fall, and then when we do get a peak, I'm getting confusing here. When we do get a peak here, like we did back in 2019, when we do hit 42, 50,000, somewhere in that range, and the prices of everything starts to fall, don't be surprised if we then watch the Bitcoin dominance begin to take off. I still believe we're going to see Bitcoin dominance get above 50%. But I am kind of sitting in a boat right now that's saying, actually, it is a good sign for the market. And I think that what we're going to see over the next couple of weeks is prices of altcoins and Bitcoin moving to the upside, dominance slowly but surely moving to the downside. And then do not be surprised. Let's fast forward to where we are. Do not be surprised if after, probably when the Bitcoin conference happens and all the prices start to come back down to the downside, don't be surprised to watch the Bitcoin dominance start to shoot up. And I can't grab my marker. There we go. It's going to come down, and then it's going to shoot up, and it's going to get above 50,000, probably hovering somewhere around 51, 52, if I'm going to make an educated guess here on this one. And then we'll start to see it kind of level out like we did back in 2019. So that is definitely something that you should be keeping your eyes on. Bitcoin dominance, it does have room to the upside. The good news is that for the next little bit, it'll probably trade to the downside as prices do climb after we find support. And then when the market tops out and we do have a bunch of FUD coming back in the space, and there's that kind of, hey, everything's all right campaign, and people are putting money back into US dollar, that's when we'll see the dominance just actually absolutely take off for Bitcoin like it does normally. Again, in bear markets, Bitcoin dominance usually moves to the upside. In bull markets, it usually moves to the downside. This is one more reason, guys, why we do not believe this is a Bitcoin bull market, because we're still really, really low on the Bitcoin dominance at this point. With that said, though, guys, it is 9:30. Once again, if you guys are just joining, thank you so much for coming in here. Go ahead and smash that like button, despite the fact that this is a very heavily pixelated show. Hopefully here very soon that will be solved due to Wi-Fi issues. I might even try to play with that a little bit more this afternoon. T-Shroom, though, I'm going to throw it over to you for us to get into our stock market open of the morning. What are you seeing happening in the stock market world?
In the stock market world, you say?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, let's go ahead and check that out. We had some big earnings yesterday from Tesla. We're going to get to that in just a few minutes. I've got some great stories as well, very interesting stories, I should say. But we'll start off as we do so often with energy here. The natural gas futures contracts just barely green, but the ETF actually almost exactly down the amount that the futures contracts are up. So very interesting backwardation there in the natural gas early on, but oil down 2%. Let's see, looking at the index here in the first minute, we actually usually don't get to the market open this early, so we're getting to see the first couple seconds, which is kind of nice. The NASDAQ is selling off to the tune of 0.8%. The S&P not far behind at 0.7%, and the Dow Jones is down 0.4% there. That is going to be your market open, really kind of a response to Tesla's earnings. And you know what? I think I'm just going to go ahead and go into the Tesla earnings story just so we have that backdrop, because I think that's going to be the kind of the biggest market mover here in the first few minutes. It closed. Tesla's net income and earnings dropped more than 20% from last year. Don't let that headline scare you too much, because earnings per share, 85 cents adjusted versus 85 cents expected, according to the average analyst estimate compiled by Refinitiv. And then the revenue was 32 billion versus 32.33 billion versus 32.21 billion expected, according to Refinitiv estimates. So it beat. It actually came in and beat on revenue, and it basically met on earnings per share. So, ultimately you could kind of go both ways. You could say, oh, well, the headline though here on CNBC is that Tesla's net income and earnings dropped more than 20% from last year, or you could actually look at the revenue and see that it actually did fairly well quarter over quarter, I believe is what that's measuring. So that's what the market is kind of struggling to figure out. So going back over to the market open, this is what it's trying to figure out here. And actually, I want to go ahead and do a quick dive down to our mega cap tech stocks and see Tesla is selling off 7.5%, guys. This is the kind of the big story of the day. See a big gap down there, back down to this chart prime level. Piper, what is this yellow? What is the yellow level here that I'm seeing? Can you see that? Can you hear that?
I can. That is the lower trade band of the predictive ranges. So a majority of price action occurs between the two gold bands, with the blue line being the delta. So it got down to the lower trade band. So it's still in the trade band for that range. So
right. So anytime you see a big tech company, American tech company, down 7%, it definitely flashes thoughts of maybe buying in your head, buying for a trade. I'm not saying to do that or not to do that. I'm just saying that's, sometimes what a trader's mind might think when they see a big American company, kind of down. And you can see this is the daily chart, pretty low from its equilibrium, from that delta line there, that blue line, going out to the weekly. Again, this is the Tesla chart. Going out to the weekly, you can see that this red candlestick that we're currently on the weekly is kind of coming down here and testing these lows that were put in back in March 13th. And those lows got wicked down to $164.30 there for Tesla share. And the current weekly candlestick has not reached down that low, only wicked down $165.32. So still has technically a higher low there on the weekly candlesticks, but we'll see. I mean, coming in, starting the market down 7%, more than 7% on the day after your earnings print is not great. So we'll see what happens there for Tesla, but that is going to be your biggest story from yesterday. That is definitely going to determine what's going to happen today in the market until something bigger comes in and shakes the market. Well, let's see what's going on here in crypto. We know that the indexes are generally down, more than likely because of that guidance there on Tesla's earnings. But check this out, guys. It's pretty mixed, and I would say generally green for crypto. So Dogecoin, and actually it looks like Gala is leading the way higher here, up 5.6%. Just a quick notice that Gala is going from V1 to V2. So you'll want to, what is it, Piper? You want to just go ahead and sell your V1 coins, or can you swap them out? Piper?
No, what you want to do is you want to make sure that your Gala is not involved in in a stake pool or a utility pool or anything like that. If it's in that, you're not going to catch the air gap. the airdrop, I mean. But if it's in an exchange or it's on a ledger or a hot wallet of any type, like MetaMask, so on and so forth, a DEX, then you will get a snapshot airdrop of Gala version 2. And
Gotcha.
that Gala version 1 is going to become useless. It's the blockchain is all the liquidity is going to be transferred from the version 1 over to the version 2. It will have no utility on it, nothing. So you want to make sure that you do not have it somewhere where they cannot get a snapshot picture for that conversion over to version 2. And then you'll get all of your stuff on version 2.
So it needs to be in a hot wallet, not staked. Yeah.
Correct.
Okay. Interesting. There you go. That is important information for you Gala holders, though. Gala, I don't think that I've seen it too often with a crypto where your crypto could just kind of become seemingly worthless if you're not paying attention. So, just kind of goes to show you do need to be on top of your finances, on top of your money when you're invested in crypto.
Or
and
just
there's no better
subscribe to Investing Bros.
Yeah, I was just about to say there's no better place to be kept up on how to avoid losing a lot of money than by tuning in. All right. So generally, though, Ethereum up almost 2%, up 1.7% this morning. Optimism chain not doing too bad here, up 2.3%. Cardano down Cardano down 0.2%. And so generally, though, Gala is definitely taking the cake this morning. Yes, I have added AGIX to my watch list. I purchased it yesterday for the first time. There you go. Not financial advice, but I have been listening to some interviews of the founder there, and he's a really, really intelligent guy, and definitely no stranger to psychedelic drugs, which today on 420 is an interesting time to bring that up. All right.
I want to tell you congratulations on finally getting Singularity T-Shroom, because I've had it for like 2.5 months, 3 months now. So
yeah,
but Archie
good.
has had it for like 6. So
right, yeah. And it was a big pleasure having Archie on TA Talks yesterday over on the Chart Prime Discord, which if you guys haven't checked out the Chart Prime Discord, you're missing out. It's a lot of fun over there. And, I definitely have a lot of fun on the TA Talks with you, Piper. So with that being said, though, yes, AGIX has been added to my bags. I swapped out some Cardano for it. It's actually very easy. The way I'm sorry, it was not easy because I usually just buy things through Polygon Network. I usually just buy like altcoins, but I instead used Sunday Swap on Cardano because AGIX, for those of you who don't know, is actually a native coin on Cardano. And so I was able to scoop it up through Sunday Swap. So a lot of fun there. Metals coming in up, getting bought this morning. Gold more than silver, gold up 0.5%. Let's take a look really quickly here at the metals charts. This is gold. People are calling for all kinds of crazy prices for gold to skyrocket up to, but we'll see. We'll see what happens with gold. Not too sure what is going to happen over there in that market. Moving on into our mega cap tech stocks, looks like Tesla is actually recovering a little bit, but still getting back into that down 7% territory. So we shall see. Google actually staying green, the only name on the mega cap tech stock watch list here that is green. I need to add Netflix to this. Netflix would probably be a good idea to add to this one. Let me know in the chat what other mega cap tech stocks should I add to this. There's not too many more without getting too boring of companies. But anyway, so keeping on moving on. Your bond yields are coming down. The 2-year staying above 4% there, though, which is worthy of note because you still have an inverted yield curve as long as this number right here is larger than really this number, the 30-year. That is not supposed to happen. So we still have an inverted yield curve right on down the line. So that does not look like that's going to be changing anytime soon. Cannabis, you'd expect this to be roaringly green because it is 420, smoke it, blaze it today. But unfortunately, it's only Tilray that's green, but it is up 0.6% there. So we shall see what happens there with cannabis by the end of the day. Definitely a federal legalization story there. Cannabis is definitely the play there. All right, moving right along, your mid-cap tech stocks are looking pretty red today. DraftKings staying green there, up 0.2%. Workhorse down 0.9%, almost 1% there. So your big banks, red across the screen, Citibank leading lower, down 1%, and your oil producers all down more than 1%, except for Occidental Petroleum. They're down only 0.8% there. Well, that is going to round out our market open, guys. And I have some bad news that I've got to bring you an update. So I'm in the Army. Piper is retired from the Army, so he probably knows sacrifice. But unfortunately, I'm going to have to endure quite a sacrifice, guys, because...
Real quick, T-Shroom.
What's up?
Piper, do you still hear us?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So I see in chat, the reason why I'm pausing you, T-Shroom, because what you're saying is important, but a lot of people in chat are saying everything's frozen. So if it's one person, it's usually, things, but with our Wi-Fi, I just wanted to make sure Piper still heard us. Let us know in chat. If you guys still hear us, can you still see us? What it is, I think,
today, but unfortunately, it's only Tilray that's green, but it is up 6%.
All right. Very interesting.
That guy sounds really sexy.
Yeah, after T-Shroom's announcement, I'll have something I want to say too. But go ahead, T-Shroom. Let's start from the beginning, just in case people who just refreshed their page came back in.
Oh, I see Greg's in the chat. Greg, you're going to be very disappointed by this news. You're going to have you're going to have a bone to pick with the U.S. Army because they have rescheduled my drill for May 18th through the 21st. So I will unfortunately not be able to attend Bitcoin 2023, or else I will be considered a deserter by the U.S. military.
Ooh.
And that could have some felony implications. So I won't be skipping out on that, but I will not unfortunately be able to join you all in Miami. There's nothing I can do about it. So sorry, guys. I did issue a disclaimer when I was promoting that there is a possibility that the Army at any time could send me to Iraq. They could send me to wherever they want. Send me to Venezuela, send me wherever they want at any time. I am technically deployable. Everybody in the Army, for the most part, is deployable. So, I have made the decision to serve my country, and there are consequences to that. And unfortunately, I will not be able to party it on up at the biggest Bitcoin event. But I will be in Austin. So I will be in Austin coming up here the 26th through the 28th. So I will be looking forward to meeting you all there. Definitely let me know on Twitter and Discord if you're going to be there. Anyway, I've taken a long time. That was our market open. That was my sad news. I'm not going to be in Miami because I'll be serving you and serving the taxpayers and the electorate here of the good country of the United States. But yeah, sorry about that, guys. Nothing I can do about it. If you want to send a letter to your senator, you can... I'm just kidding. There's not going to be any change there. So, So with that, Piper or Tim, you guys have any more announcements?
No, I think that, as people are saying intermittent freezing. There we go. That's very nice. I think we're back on though. So I want to be very open. This is one of the things about this channel. We're very open and very candid with you guys about things behind the scenes. Especially if you guys get to be in bro times or if you guys get to come into our Discord, we can tell you guys about a lot. I want to start by saying I'm very appreciative of everybody who is still sitting here watching the stream. I want to let you guys know this has been a very frustrating last couple of days. To me, definitely, but I know it's got to be frustrating to the other two guys here and myself. On top of all this moving stuff, the first day that we went like this and my pixelated camera looked like this, it was kind of like funny, like, oh, okay, that's weird. That's it'll get fixed tomorrow. The fact that it keeps doing this, I can't tell you guys how frustrating this is because we have just put so much work into making sure we have everything going smoothly. And it's like when it's outside of your control, it just gets so frustrating. But the reason why we're still doing the show, because internally my brain was like this morning when we were struggling, when I was like, everything inside of me was like, let's just cancel the show. Like, this is just so bad. This is terrible. And yet we decided to go through with it. I mean, this is something that like I learned a long time ago from a guy who was mentoring me, and he said, listen, man, as a leader, a lot of times when things don't go perfectly, it's very easy to give up. He gave me stories about how he was leading a group, and when things didn't go according to plan, he would cancel events and try to postpone them. And he said leadership was getting to a point where you realize you just got to show up. Even if everything's not perfect, you just show up. And that's exactly what's happening right now, guys. This is far from perfect, and we have had such a momentum on this channel. We're literally like, I think 10 subscribers away from 3,000, despite the fact that we haven't even been a channel for 6 months, which is just completely awesome and a testament to how amazing you guys have been. But I just wanted to be very open with you guys and thank you guys for your support and being here with us, because it's hard. Like, I would fully understand if people click on this stream look at the quality of the cameras and be like, oh, okay, this is not good. But you guys have been so awesome. Bigger and better days are ahead of us. And again, you guys are the reasons why we do show up every single day, because you guys are that awesome. Thank you so much. We love all of you guys, and hopefully here, I'm going to play with this again tomorrow. I'm hoping tomorrow it looks better, but I know when everything transitions here in a couple of weeks and I'm in Atlanta and we're spread out, it should go back to being really, really normal. With that said, though, Piper, anything you want to add in on our little promo time before we jump into the news?
No, I don't have anything, man. I just I'm looking forward to Consensus 2023. And I can't wait for you to get better internet, man.
I like, and then like you add in. I just want you guys to know, like, it's bad enough of this stuff, and then it's like we have these people. Like yesterday, we had this tsunami outside of our house because people are pressure washing our house, despite the fact that I told them that we run a podcast here. I told them podcast because they probably wouldn't understand the YouTube stuff, but I was like, we run a podcast every morning. They're like, okay, good, and then they go right outside the window and do it. And then this morning, they're outside our front door, so Beamer is going crazy, like he should. A good dog.
Yeah.
There's strange men at my front door. I'm glad he's barking, but we're trying to put on a live show. So it's just like when it's when it rains, it pours. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But hopefully the storm is almost over and we are about to just take off with all of this.
But regardless, the good news is that it looks like crypto is going on discount here, and it'll be blue light special for a little while.
Yeah,
and we'll be able to buy up. For those of you who do have the free time to watch the charts, and DCA a little bit more strategically, you may have been waiting to DCA, as I have been. So now, it's been a good time to DCA back in at a little bit of a lower price. Mm-hmm. All right, well, I think we're ready to go ahead and get into these stories.
Let's do it,
because there are a lot. Oh my gosh, there are a lot of stories here. I didn't realize there were so many, but we're gonna try to get through it here. We'll start off with the big one. Russia plans to mine crypto for cross-border deals, says central bank. The country's government is also working on a bill that will create a national agency to license and supervise cryptocurrency platforms operating in Russia, wrote a local newspaper on Tuesday, citing a member of Russian Parliament's Economic Policy Committee. And then they added that a new tax code will be introduced for miners as a part of the regulation. So I'm not going to read the rest. There's a little bit more detail, but essentially this should ring alarm bells for this guy's thesis right here. He's a U.S. Space Force officer, MIT grad, not the college is important, and author of Software, the book. It's very important, and here's a quick synopsis. This is from the Amazon website where you can purchase the book. But Lowry's presents a novel theory on the U.S. Department of Defense that Bitcoin doesn't just represent a peer-to-peer cash system. It also represents a new form of digital age warfare that will transform national security, cybersecurity, and possibly even the base layer architecture of the internet. Mike Lowry concludes that Bitcoin represents a national strategic imperative that the U.S. should support and adopt as quickly as possible, else it risks losing its lead as a global superpower in the 21st century. Okay, a lot going on here, guys. But ultimately, and here's the Amazon page for software. Ultimately, guys, that this headline here is kind of signaling that Russia may have read this book, or they understand the thesis. It doesn't mean that American powers that be, I guess theoretically Biden doesn't understand it too, but it means that Russia is going ahead and playing the first card. We won't get into too many details. Hopefully that synopsis from Amazon helped you understand a little bit, but ultimately there is Mike Lowry has basically looked into the crystal ball, right? He understands, he's kind of at the apex of a lot of different technologies that allows him to look into the crystal ball of where this whole Bitcoin thing's going. And he has concluded that it could actually be the next nuclear arms race. It could be the next very, very important thing when it comes to military force projection. So we have all the time in the world to talk about that later on, but let's keep trudging here through our stories. Elon Musk threatens Microsoft with lawsuit and claims that AI trained on Twitter data. So this one's just a quick, it is kind of what it is there in the headline. On April 19th, Musk tweeted that it was lawsuit time in response to a post reporting that Microsoft would cease supporting Twitter on April 25th across its online social advertising tools, smart campaigns, and multi-platform. So there he is. Microsoft, I guess, a news article said, Microsoft drops Twitter from its advertising platform, and Elon said, lawsuit time. Pretty funny. Whoop, here we go. Going right to that tweet. So that's a developing story. Elon, yet again, finding another hill to fight a battle on. So we'll see how that goes. It seems like he's trying to solve all the world's problems at once. Meanwhile, Coinbase expands to Bermuda. And this is another big story, arguably the biggest story of the day here. Coinbase expands to Bermuda, eyes Abu Dhabi and derivatives. San Francisco-based exchange, crypto exchange Coinbase has been granted a license to operate in the offshore financial haven of Bermuda as it seeks to diversify its businesses outside of the U.S. The the classic F license issued by the Bermuda Monetary Authority will enable Coinbase to conduct activities that fall under the region's Business Act, which introduces issuing, selling, or redeeming digital assets, among other digital asset related services. Okay. In an attempt to seek an alternative revenue streams outside of the U.S., Coinbase's move can be viewed as an attempt to challenge existing rivals such as Binance, the world's largest exchange by spot trade volume. Okay, we're not done yet here, guys. Speculation is now mounting as to whether the publicly listed exchange intends to leave the U.S. following a series of high-profile actions taken against crypto firms by the SEC. In addition to its expansion to Bermuda, Coinbase also announced plans to push out operations into Abu Dhabi as part of a go broad and go deep plan designed to diversify its offering. It is also moving forward with development in Canada and Brazil. And here's a quick and last detail, a quotation from the man himself, Brian Armstrong. Coinbase chose to become a public company in the U.S. because we believe the U.S. would best be served by embracing this fundamental innovation, but we're also focused on international markets, many of which are moving forward with strategies to become crypto hubs. Keywords there, crypto hubs. The exchange said in a blog, we would like to see the U.S. take a similar approach, but a regulation by enforcement approach in the U.S. is instead leading to disappointing trend for crypto development in the U.S. Boom. There you go, guys. This is the story in its entirety. Coinbase continues the momentum to potentially move out of the U.S., out of California there in San Francisco, and actually potentially headquarter in Bermuda, Abu Dhabi, the UK. Looks like Bermuda might actually technically be part of the UK. I didn't know that. Not sure if that's even true. But I want to throw it over to Piper. Piper, kind of what are your thoughts here on this story? Do you feel like Coinbase is going to pull the trigger, or do you think that they're just really trying to set the, make the waters really, really hot for Gary Gensler and really kind of tee up Congress to get his butt out of there?
Yeah, I think he's probably keying up for that. I mean, you heard what they were saying at the interrogation, I'll call it, of Gary Gensler.
Right.
Like he knows that his days are numbered. And I think this is going to put pressure on them to get rid of Gary Gensler and give ammunition to those that want to get rid of Gary Gensler. Like, look, we said you were pushing companies out. Here's another one. Like, so yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Tim, what are your thoughts on this? Do you think Coinbase is kind of bluffing here, or do you think they actually have intent to move outside of the U.S.?
Yeah, I discussed this a little bit yesterday. I don't want to say it's a full out bluff. I do think it's a, hey, figure this out or we'll leave. And the good news about the Bermuda thing is they're going to open up something in Bermuda. Doesn't mean they're completely leaving the United States just yet.
Right.
But it's like their way of enforcing, hey, we are not bluffing. Mm-hmm. And we do have an outlet to go to. And again, some people in the government are going to like that. Like, Elizabeth Warren is probably mm-hmm. sitting here just hoping and wishing that we're going to have Coinbase and other exchanges leave the United States. But if politicians, and they have been being updated, they have been kind of looking more into this, they're going to realize very quickly, especially with this adoption Russia is having, in the same way, if Russia was building a new weapon, I don't know what words YouTube is going to not like that I say. Let's say weapon. Let's say Russia or China was building a brand new weapon. Do you think the U.S. officials would say, nope, we banned that weapon. We don't want that weapon. No. They are absolutely going to be saying we need scientists working on building an identical or better weapon. Mm-hmm. As they're watching Russia and China start to move to be more crypto friendly and bringing in crypto companies and mining and all this stuff, it is not going to take a rocket scientist to understand that the U.S. government's going to say, well, we can't let them be doing something that we're not doing if this is the furthering of how our world is going. So I think all the more reason, like I said, I think 2 months is a little maybe too soon, but I would not be surprised to see Gary Gensler outed, to see SEC regulation make more sense about how crypto is here. Brian Armstrong does exactly what he's trying to do and force their hand to actually make common sense regulatory measures, and then he ends up staying in the United States. I don't think he wants to leave. I think, honestly, a lot of people who are in the United States running crypto exchanges, they want to stay here, but they will leave if they are forced to, and that's where we're currently sitting.
Yeah. Well, we've been looking at the beautiful sites here of Bermuda, and this looks like the cruise ship port there of Bermuda. So if Brian Armstrong does choose to go re-headquarter down there, and he's going to be living there potentially, he's not going to be too unsatisfied with the beautiful views there of the lovely country of Bermuda, which may or may not be part of the UK. I'm not sure. So very interesting, guys. Well, I told you Elon was going to be in our story section, and he has not left yet. Tesla kept 184 million Bitcoin balance in Q1 of 2023. Really short and to the point here, guys. The company's April 19th release shows it held exactly that, 184 million of the digital asset in Q1 2023, as it did in Q4 2022. So it's been having the same diamond hands that you see here on the Investing Bros of Tim, myself, and Piper. So that's what's going on over at Tesla. They have not wavered in their faith in Bitcoin, and I don't remember if they have a little. Oh, they do have. There's some details here about Doge. Though Tesla briefly accepted Bitcoin as payment, it abandoned this due to environmental impact of crypto mining. Tesla now accepts Doge for some merchandise. So I don't know. I guess they haven't changed their policy on that, but very interesting. It looks like they accept Doge, and they probably still hold a little Doge. So good for them. Well, moving on. Let's go. So we actually went into the Tesla earnings already. So, but in the spirit of earnings, we'll look at what is going on today and what has come out so far. So, AT&T has beat their estimate was 58 cents, and their actual was 60. And then the Taiwanese semiconductor giant TSM also beat estimate $1.21, and the actual was 131. And I'm not going to read all these guys, but just kind of the big ones. American Express missed, estimated 260, actual print 240, and then Union Pacific Corporation beat. So those are kind of be your big ones. Blackstone looks like it met. So that's not to be confused with BlackRock. And Nokia Corporation, I guess I can't think they do like networking infrastructure. They missed. So it's a little bit of everything there. The market's not going to be able to interpret that very, black and white, but it looks like, for the most part, the big one, AT&T, which is a behemoth, a very, very large company, was able to meet there, which is what the market ultimately wants to see. Let's go ahead and let's see how the indexes have changed really quickly if we can, and then we'll go ahead and get into our Q&A section, because that will we have one more headline to read, but yeah, it looks like the indexes are still red, pretty much unchanged since the beginning. Although I will say the NASDAQ now is getting sold off the least compared to the Dow Jones and the S&P, but that isn't saying too much. And then our last story here is Hong Kong court recognizes crypto as property. So not going to read the details on that, but that's a developing story as well. I think we're ready for Q&A.
Yeah, well, everybody, go ahead and start submitting some questions here. We had a great one from JT Skinner here not too long ago that I think is a good one. He kind of started something in chat between me and Army Piper, and obviously we're going to have this very friendly debate. But let's kind of open this up, and I want to hear what the audience thinks about this. Is this the cycle that Bitcoin gets topped? I guess the obvious front runner would be Ethereum. Technically speaking, I think it's an open-ended question. We could start with that. Does any other altcoin, T-Shroom or Piper, do you see any altcoin other than Ethereum being able to top Bitcoin in this next cycle?
I'm just gonna say no.
Yeah,
because there's a couple events that could happen, but they're pretty extreme, like outages on certain blockchains and things like that. But if everything goes relatively expect what is expected, unless there's I think one of the only things that could happen that would be bullish enough to flip Bitcoin would be if one of these security token projects were to really get up and running, and the U.S. banking sector start to crumble to the point where corporations actually look to securitize their stocks, tokenize their stocks. I'm sorry.
Securitize. I don't know if that's a
tokenize their securities is what I meant to say.
Securitize.
You better securitize.
Hey, listen, I'll make up words from time to time, and it's great. Let's go ahead and keep with it. I like securitize, T-shirt. Let's go with it.
I'm not actually convinced it's not a word, but I'm not going to look that up right now.
Someone fact check this. Is securitize or securitize? Securitize. Is that a word?
I have no idea. But no. I don't think it's going to be Ethereum. I think it would, again, I haven't thought about this question too much.
Yeah.
It's possible it could be a stable coin maybe as well.
No,
but I think the only thesis that would be strong enough to get up to that $500 billion market cap, it would have to be something like a giant shift in wealth somewhere into a project that makes a ton of sense. I guess it could be Ethereum, but I don't know. I just don't see I see, for the same reasons Ethereum would skyrocket, Bitcoin would also skyrocket. Not every single one of those reasons, but as we discussed yesterday at length, and also on TA Talks with Crypto Archie, which you can see on Chart Prime's Discord, we talked about how if Gary Gensler were to be cut off and removed from his current position as chairman of the SEC, that Ethereum certainly would have a ton of upside, potentially even seeing close to 5,000 or maybe even 10,000. Who knows how much pent up demand there is? But I think that there would also be a ton of upside for Bitcoin. Why? Because of a spot ETF coming back onto the table. Gary has been seen as the only thing standing between a Bitcoin spot ETF, which would send Bitcoin to the moon as well. So that's kind of my take. I don't think that anything's going to flip Bitcoin in this next bull cycle, but if it was going to be, it would be Ethereum, maybe a stable coin, or also a tokenization of corporate securities coin.
So great answer. I'm going to remind the question for Piper, because I'm going to go deeper with another question. You just went off there for a little minute there.
You're welcome.
Other than Ethereum, Piper, is there any coin that could flip Bitcoin in your opinion in this cycle?
Tim, let's just be honest here and let's be clear about this. There is only one token that has a chance of flipping Bitcoin.
Okay.
And that token,
that's how
that
I wanted to set
is
the stage.
That token is PayPay.
There we go. There we go. There we go. This conversation is getting away from us. All right. I didn't know it was going to take that long. Let's just start the basis. I think we can all agree. We're talking about Ethereum and Bitcoin. We're not really bringing other things. Even the stable coins, I would say, T-Shroom, I would look for a stable coin to get a bigger market cap than maybe a crypto in a bear market, not a bull market. A lot of people are going to flow their money into the crypto space at a bull market, not theirs. So I think we're all on the same page, other than Pepe coin, which is an outside chance, according to Piper.
It's a long shot. It's a long shot, but
we're really just looking at Ethereum and Bitcoin. So the question now becomes, all right, we've been talking about this since the last cycle, the flippening, the great flippening, Ethereum over Bitcoin. Is it possible? And I guess there's two different questions, possible and likely. Let's talk about that. I want to start with you, Piper. The Ethereum Maxi, pretty sure I know what your answer is, but I want you to kind of stress on that. Possible versus likely, could Ethereum flip Bitcoin?
Securitize is a word.
Securitize is, yes, it is. It is.
Wow.
So,
you're welcome.
So could it do it? Yes, absolutely. There is a scenario where it happens. It's come close before, and that was before it went deflationary. So I think that there is a possibility for it to happen. If it's going to happen, I think it's going to be this cycle. I think we're going to start seeing a lessening as time goes forward, and it is only a matter of time. Let's be honest. It's only a matter of time before something comes out that's not only better than Ethereum, but also better marketing, better utilization, more projects. So I think this is the last time that it has to do it. So, but yeah, I mean, it's possible. It's possible. That's why
I think. Yeah, sorry.
But just so you know, I'm not an ETH maxi. I am a ETH gains maximalist, which means I think that ETH has the potential to do a greater percentage run up than Bitcoin does. But ultimately, I would take my profits if I was going to go, okay, I'm settled into what I'm buying now. This is it. It would be in Bitcoin and in real estate. So,
Yeah. I think so. Yeah, I'm going to start with the word possible. Technically, anything is possible. But just so you guys know, for me, in this next cycle, I'm not even talking about like 10, 15 years from now, which I still think is not necessarily likely. But this next cycle, I believe what it would have to take is a massive amount of backlash against Bitcoin. Borderline Bitcoin doesn't really get to hit a new all-time high. That to me is what it's going to take. I do think Ethereum's market cap will surpass the all-time high of Bitcoin's market cap from 2021. That I do see happening. But unless Bitcoin is stifled and not allowed to hit a new all-time high, all the while Ethereum is going and setting brand new highs, doubling its highs even potentially, then you have a case. But again, the likelihood of that happening, it's just not there. You still are battling with Ethereum. You're still battling the fees. I think Ethereum, again, I still see the pecking order as being Bitcoin, Ethereum, then the rest, right? I'm not really sure who's going to be number 3. There's cases for a lot of different coins to be number 3. You can make a very good case for XRP. You make a good case for Cardano. You can still make a good case for BNB. There are other coins out there. You can make a case for Matic, honestly, to be number 3. But I think that the difference between number 2 and 3, that being Ethereum and whoever number 3 is, I think that's going to be a closer difference than the difference between Bitcoin and Ethereum. I still think that we are still in the early stages of crypto and blockchain adoption. Bitcoin is just so far and away the most approachable cryptocurrency, especially when it comes to store of value. And again, this is going to be, not that we haven't had institutional adoption in the past, we clearly did. Tesla and Elon Musk in 2021 was a massive boost for the crypto space, but we have not even begun to scratch the surface of what institutions are comfortable with. I think this is the cycle where institutions don't even go all in, but more institutions start dabbling, and Bitcoin is just the safer bet for them. Now, I still don't think it's likely that the next cycle, when we're talking about potentially in 2029, now you have a little bit better of a case for saying, hey, we've had Ethereum existing here for a while. It's still running the space. Almost the entire world is running off of at least a layer 2 solution of what Ethereum's doing, if Cardano hasn't caught up to it by then. You start to make a case for Ethereum to at least start getting close, but I still just think the store of value issue for Bitcoin, it's going to be one of the things that Bitcoin just always stays at the top due to store of value, and Ethereum will have moments of flirting with it and getting close, but it's just not going to be able to make that peak. I think Bitcoin remains the king, and again, the only reason we're seeing a flippening is, once again, if for some reason, and this is not impossible, so much FUD or something goes wrong with Bitcoin and people decide, you know what, thank you for getting us here, Bitcoin, but we're done with you. We're moving all of our store of value into something that's better. Now, you're going to get XRP maxis who are going to come in and say, that's us, choose us. You're going to have Ethereum people say, oh, that's us. You're going to have Cardano people say, that's us. And guess what? I love all of these projects. I'm invested in them. I'm in them for the long haul. But I'm sorry, they don't have anything on Bitcoin just yet. The brilliance of Satoshi Nakamoto and what he built and keeping it proof of work, that's another thing. I think people need to really, really grasp hold of the fact that it is going to remain proof of work, and all these others that are really going to compete with it are proof of stake or proof of something else. That's a big deal. Bitcoin is right now and will continue to be the most decentralized form of cryptocurrency, and that's not going to change anytime soon. And that's the reason why it will stay king and number 1, I believe, for the rest of this world's eternity.
I want to point out that peanut butter and jelly token.
It's true. There's an outside peanut butter jelly token.
20,999,999 is its cap, which is less than Bitcoin's 21 million by one token. So yeah.
Let us know in chat. I see some people saying Elliot Locke says blasphemy. I'm not quite sure which line he said was blasphemy. Love it though. MySpace vibe says JT Skinner. Let's see.
MySpace vibes.
I don't know.
I hope we're giving out MySpace vibes.
Oh my goodness. You had a MySpace growing up?
Yeah.
I had one for sure that my mom did not know about. I've since confessed to her though, so we're good,
I just don't understand why people don't like our retro broadcast. Like, retro is the in thing, so we're,
right?
Yeah. We're doing a retro broadcast.
Let's see here.
You want to get some ADA TA there,
ADA
Tim?
TA. Let's do it. Let's do some ADA TA here. You can go ahead and share my screen. It's gonna be somewhat similar. I mean, the crypto market as a whole right now is not going nuts. I thought I showed you guys Bitcoin dominance is climbing back up a little bit, but it's more like stabilizing. So you're seeing kind of a consistency across all of crypto right now. I'm not here on the daily chart right now. Again, so this is a sign. This is a strength for the bears right now. Yes, we're technically sitting at a level of support. I'm going to zoom in and show you guys in a second, but look at this triple call. Let's go ahead and call it a triple call right here for the bears. We have overbought. We have our red reversal triangle. We have our predicted reversal down, all coming in right after we peaked out here. How high did we officially get? 46.27 cents, 26 cents, something like that. Cardano peaked out, had a great little run. Just like everything else in crypto, it's cooling down. In fact, right now, from that peak, Cardano is down currently about 10%, not the end of the world, but it is something to keep our eyes on. We still have a daily dynamic reactor that is working after for years. No, when I say years, I mean like a year and a half, 2 years, I guess. It being, I can't even zoom out far enough to get it. All the way since back, we went red and started moving to the downside back in November of 2021. Yeah, so that's, I mean, over a year, not quite yet to 2 years, but it is curving the daily dynamic reactor. And recently, despite the fact that we've been green now, it actually is making some upward momentum here. So I am still long-term bullish on Cardano. I believe there's a good chance with all cryptos that the bottoms are in. Maybe some little ones, maybe not. But like when we're talking about top 10, top 20 altcoins, I believe the bottoms are in. I believe that it's nothing to the upside. There will be a big significant dip. Again, I still believe Cardano can make it all the way up here towards 70, 77 cents. As we watch Bitcoin make its climb towards 50, Ethereum makes its climb towards 3,000 to 3,600. I know it's a big gap right there, but I think it's going to be interesting to watch what it does there. I think Ethereum could make it up to 70 cents and then have a pullback down to these similar levels, 40 cents, 35 cents, but not touch back down towards 23, which is where we bottomed out this cycle. Right now, though, let's go down to the 4-hour when it comes to Cardano. We did have, now this is something to keep an eye on. So we're not officially ignoring it just yet, although there's a chance we do. We'd have our predicted reversal up here on the 4-hour chart. That one did kind of get ignored. We kind of just blasted on through that one. This oversold green triangle, it really came into effect right here. If I zoom in just a little more. So we do have a couple red candles. It's a little too early to say we've full on ignored that one, but it's kind of getting closer. Let's even go down to the hourly chart. Oh, and last thing I'll say, on the 4-hour, you're also going to notice our RSI. This is something to keep our eyes on. The reason why, I don't know if these dips are over, but go look. I mean, if you don't trust me, go look at Bitcoin and Ethereum. On the 4-hour chart, the RSIs are at the lowest they have been since, here on Cardano, it's the lowest we've seen since all the way back on March 10th. By the way, guys, March 10th, if you were to go back, Cardano's hovering around 30 cents. So the fact that we're hitting similar levels, early chart where I'm going to imagine, I haven't looked at it this morning, but I'm just going to imagine the bearish calls have been pretty good. Honestly, that wasn't a bad bullish call right there, but we are getting up. RSI is clearly going to the upside. We're seeing that on the chart prime oscillator as well. It's locating bullish divergence. We have a green reversal triangle with a blue dot, which is called a peak seeker, saying that we should be reversing. So Cardano is actually showing some more bullish signs than even what we were seeing on Bitcoin and Ethereum. Let's continue to up the ante. Let's pull up some other things here. On the hour chart, we have our predictive ranges. We're just hovering right at the lower gold band. We came down, didn't quite touch the green band, but got close to it. So this is actually an interesting spot. The 4-hour chart, see even more so. We're trading right at the delta line. This could be interesting. Cardano's kind of sitting in a spot. It's at decision point. We got some bullish indicators saying that we could reverse to the upside. We're sitting on some support, but again, being above the 4-hour dynamic reactor, being at the delta line, not the bottom gold band, I'm not sitting here with confidence saying that Cardano's going to flip up to the upside. I will say it's sitting in a more bullish stance on the charts than Bitcoin and Ethereum are. But it doesn't mean necessarily that the little dip in the crypto space is over. Out of curiosity, let me think. Piper, can you see anything else that you're looking at? I think another thing I want to look at here, if I pull this up and go away from my predictive ranges, let me also look at some order blocks here on a shorter timeline to see if there's anything within reach here close. Yeah, see, here's one, 38 cents. Again, that's a little low though. 38 cents, 39. It could go that low. I don't think that's going to happen though. Let's go at the daily chart. Look at order blocks. yeah, I don't know if we're going to fill that order block. Yeah, so I'm not necessarily even seeing a lot of things there. These are just just too low for me. I don't know if Cardano needs to fill those up at all. Keep your eyes on them. I think I will just go ahead and warn you in case things do go bad. 38 cents, 37 cents. There's some order blocks going on there for Cardano. But other than that, according to the charts, I'm liking what I'm seeing on Cardano for a bounce here sooner rather than later, more so than I am on Bitcoin and Ethereum.
Okay.
If Piper's talking, we cannot hear him.
No, I am not talking. I'm actually looking for someone else.
Question?
Yeah, someone asked for cake. He said you never do cake.
Yeah. Ooh. I've got cake queued up really quick.
Go for it.
It'll be. I'll do some quick TA, and Piper, you can be looking for some more stuff. I mean, the biggest thing that jumps out of me here on the daily chart is that cake has just broken down a major line of uptrending support. So this would be bearish. It's going to probably make a run down. Let's see. I mean, this was a pretty significant wick down. I think it could pop, and it coincides perfectly with like the midsection here of the discount range down at $3.11. And then also you have some good bouncing off of support right here, right in that region, right at like $3.12. So, I mean, the downside, there's a good chance that there's some downside. Pull up see how fast I can do this. There it is. All right, let's see how we can. Oh, that's not the right one. See what we can surmise here. Yep. So there's a big valley right at $3.11. So cake could potentially have a move down to $3.11. Piper, what are you seeing on the charts?
So I got a couple of things that I'm seeing here, guys. One is that, let me go turn this on. So you can see that we got rejected off of the, right here of the dynamic reactor. Came down. We broke the delta median line. I'm looking at a 4 hour. But what I want to show you here is our fixed range volume profile for this whole period. Mm-hmm. We're low right now. So that's not looking good for us. We bounced directly off the value area high and just broke right through this eventually. Multiple fake outs here. Now we're below it. But what I see the most, though, is, let me turn off smart money concepts. Let's turn off the market oracle. And let's turn off that fixed range. I want to throw in our auto chart patterns here, guys. And you can see here, we've printed a ton of head and shoulders and double top patterns. Well, we just printed another head and shoulder followed by another head and shoulder, and now we're getting a breakout that you pointed out also on that wedge. So that's a symmetric triangle. I mean, so if we take this and we do our measurement here just to see what this potential breakdown could be on cake, we would be looking at a price range of about $3.30, $3.29.5. But that's what I'm looking at. Clean breakout here and a breakout there. And matter of fact, let me do one thing here, and let me go see my enable breakout targets, and let's see what the wedge is putting us at. Because the wedge should put us on a breakout pattern also. There it goes. Yeah, the breakout target is going to be $3. So for the head and shoulders, we've got a breakout target of $3.30. For the breakout on this symmetric triangle, there's actually a breakout of $3 according to Chart Prime's chart patterns. So
interesting.
Yeah. So if you're in cake, which I am, I have a decent amount of wealth in cake. I'm holding it, right? But I'm also locked until May. So, in May, I will have had it in for exactly a year. So I may be considering: do I want to lock it in more? Do I want to move that into a different ecosystem? We shall see. But I have a lot of cake. I've been able to stake and earn a lot of cake. So I may be in it for the long haul. I haven't really decided quite yet, but I'm not selling right away. I'm definitely not unstaking and selling. I haven't done that for a year. So that's kind of my analysis, is even though there's downside to this, and it is not the most bullish chart for the rest of the year, I think that cake will absolutely rise with the rest of the bull market, and I will have earned a lot of coins, a lot of cake. So I don't necessarily see the benefit to selling unless I absolutely know for certain that another coin is going to take off. So that's kind of the way that I'm looking at it.
Interesting. Well, I'm looking for some other questions here. Elliot Locke Yeah, he says it's creating some good content and comedy. Well, I'm glad it seems funny. That's good. That's good there. It's very frustrating. I'm hoping today, like literally right after the stream is over, we're gonna have our little like small debrief, just over the show like we normally do, and then I think I'm just gonna like unplug everything that has to do with that modem.
Yeah,
and just reconfigure
and I'm going to reset everything on my end too, and we'll try it again later.
It's absolutely crazy. I want to go to a coin while we're waiting on another question. Make sure you guys are asking any questions you want. Any questions you want here, but I want to check on Link real quickly. That's been one we've been watching.
Before you do that, I want to say something real fast. You guys don't leave early because there's a very special outro that you got to see today.
Oh, yeah. True. It's going to be a cool outro.
It's a very special outro, so you should really stick around to the end. Don't leave us early. You're going to miss it. So,
very nice. Let's go over here to Link real quick. So we've been watching this. We had a nice red day yesterday. We've been watching this ascending triangle for Link that was trading within. Oh, I did not click that on purpose. We've been trading within a trading channel for Link for a very long time. Here's what I'll notice about Link right here, guys. This is actually a very bullish sign. Link is one of the ones, not that any crypto other than, let's say, Gala's up 4%, but almost everything else, if you're up 1%, you're having a good day in the crypto world. If you're up at 2%, like Ethereum, I think is up 2%. Link is at 1.99. Let's go ahead and call it 2%. But it came right back down to the former resistance level of this ascending triangle, turning it into support. That's a major bullish sign. And just because we have a breakout prediction here, if you guys are wondering where we get this prediction, you go to the bottom. You always go to the bottom of support levels for ascending triangles. You go up to that flat level of resistance, and then you move that over to a breakout point. So that's where you see that red line and that blue line is getting it from. So we should see a prediction about 943. You don't have to just shoot up in a straight line. Things like this happen frequently where you come up, you come back down, retest resistance. And then I'm still looking at the price to get up here to 943. And then what's nice about that, I'll continue this. Do not be surprised if that's just a call from this, but it gives us the momentum we need to break out of this longer term sideways trading channel that gives us a prediction all the way up to 1394. This is still a good looking chart here on Link. And if you guys are Link believers, or if you're in the one of the Link Marines, you had a good opportunity here yesterday to gobble up some more before a good run for Link. This has been a project that it's like, if there's a perfect medium project right now in crypto, it's Link. It bottomed out back in May, and when everything else kept setting new bottoms, Link said, nope, we're not going to set new bottoms. We already bottomed out. Now, it's not been going crazy up to the upside either. It's just been kind of even keeled, hence the sideways trading channel. But watch Link have a little bit of a resurgence, come back here, break this, get back up to 14. And then again, what you're looking for is maybe a pullback down here towards $7, maybe. But I also wonder if Link, again, because in the same way it didn't move to the same extremes as others, I wouldn't be surprised to see Link break up here closer to $14 and then come back down to like $9.50, $10 region and use it as support before the real bull market starts. So Link is definitely one that I'm like saying, hey, there's other coins that I'm like, hey, if you don't buy it right now, you're probably going to get another chance at these levels or lower. Link is one that I'm sitting here, and this is not financial advice. You guys do whatever you want. But in my opinion, I'm like, this is one we might not see these levels again. We might see this bull trend end here, come back down, but we get so much support at former resistance. Not going to be surprised if that's what ends up happening on Link. It's been moving a little bit differently. So keep your eyes on Link if you guys are in the Link Marines. Let's see. I saw here, I don't know if there's another one. Tyler Puget. Someone
asked for Cody before him. He had asked
Cody.
Twice
Yeah, do some Cody. I'll take a look at Algo. If you do some Cody, I'll look at Algo.
Got it.
Yep.
So taking a look over here at Cody right now, looking at a 12-hour on Binance for Cody versus Tether US, and you can see that right now it is currently trading inside of this rising wedge. It's going to be a rising channel pretty much, but it's almost a wedge. It's a little bit parallel there. But you can see that we got our bottom hit on it right here. It does look like it could be coming back up, but let's go ahead and turn off the patterns, and let's see what we're looking at for the fixed range volume profile first. You can see it's trading within very tight 70% for the value area high and the value area low here. So we are getting rejected perfectly about 2 days ago off of that point of control area. That's what that dashed red line is there. But if we throw on the market oracle and the smart money concepts, you'll see that point of control almost falling right in line with the upper resistance band here. Now currently coming down to the delta and this dynamic reactor. So I would be looking for support somewhere around the 8.5 to 8.25 cents, 8.3 to 8.5 would be a good support range. I do think we do have some more downside that could come here. But a lot of times, like I said, when we break out of this cloud, this red and green cloud behind the oscillator here, it tends to slow down a little bit. So it's very likely it could come out of this. It's going to print another dot because it's breaking the cloud, and then likely could get a bounce on the zero line right here, which would put us right about there before it comes back up. So I'd be looking for about 8.5 cents on Cody if I was going to grab anything up on that. Not financial advice. That's me. That's what I would do. So.
Well, speaking of everybody's favorite security token as of late, Algorand is Algo. Let's take a look at Algo really quickly here. It is. I'm going to be honest with you. So even though, excuse me, even though it's had not the greatest run, it's an overextended to the downside. It's an oversold coin. And what I'm seeing here, we rejected on the daily dynamic reactor here, right at the 0.236 level. If you're using Fibonacci levels, going back to the peak we had in November of 2022, down to what is right now the bear market bottom. This is a coin that's like, the downside is, hey, this is one of those coins that could go hit a brand new low. It's so close to it right now. Even if we get a little bit of a push-up rally with the rest of the market, it might not make it very far before it comes back down. But on the other flip side, if it catches a green wave of momentum, being bullish wave of momentum, it could be sitting in a good spot. We're on our third toucher here. It's not for sure yet, but we have a little bit of a support level kind of rising that we're sitting on right now. And I can tell you, even just by looking at, when we're looking at our RSI, when we're looking at the oscillator, I'm like, man, I know if we go down to the 4-hour chart, we're going to see an oversold flash that comes in perfectly with a midline between 0 and 0.236, also a rising level of support. Sure enough, boom, right there. We have just recently, within the last candle, gotten oversold with a green triangle. Also, take a look at that RSI. The RSI has not been this low since all the way back, again, March 9th, March 10th area, when the price of it was sitting down at 18 cents. We're currently sitting at 19.50. Of course, that doesn't seem like a big difference, but when you're that small of a coin, that is a difference. So that is a good sign. We're overextended to the downside on everything. I think we need to see momentum to gain a lot of confidence with this, because there's two sides of this coin. It's oversold. It's like, oh, it's oversold. Let's go buy it because it's oversold. And then it's like, well, why is it oversold? Is there really that much negativity surrounding it? I can't answer you that because I don't just sit and watch Algorand fundamentals all day long and update what's happening. Of course, the big news for Algorand recently was the fact that after a couple years ago, Gary Gensler used it as like the staple of what crypto should do. Now they're calling it a security. I'm just telling you, that doesn't really discourage me. If I'm sitting here saying, should I buy Algorand? Well, Gary Gensler called it security. That doesn't really change my opinion whatsoever. I'm looking outside of that. And again, so it's one of those things. There's a lot of bullish indicators right now. It's massively oversold. It is one of the few altcoins that really hasn't gotten to have a really good momentum wave. I mean, just look at it. Like, whereas everything else is hitting yearly highs, it's nowhere close to yearly highs. That could be a negative, but it also could be a positive. And from what I know about it, unless Crux knows something I don't know, or if T. Shroom knows something, shout out to Caleb Franzen in chat. Maybe he knows something. I don't know. I'm looking at this and saying there's no real reason to be skeptical about Algorand. I'm more looking at this on the side of saying, hey, this is an oversold coin. It looks like a good spot to be able to at least DCA in. Maybe not entering any trades. I honestly wouldn't suggest entering any longs on anything right now with confidence. But DCAing, there's a lot of coins that are sitting in very, very good spots to pick up some more accumulation. Caleb Franzen says Pepe will flip everything. Thank you for spreading that to our community, Caleb Franzen. You're supposed to be a helper.
That's what I said. I said Pepe.
Listen. I don't want to be sued here in like 3 years when people are like, oh, they said on the Investing Bro show that Pepe coin was a solid advice. And then I'm going to have to countersue Caleb Franzen now because he came into our community to back up. See, I already have to deal with Piper off air.
Hey,
that's an internal event.
It's 420. We don't need all this lawsuit talk. We don't need to feed into the man's legal system.
Oh my goodness.
I love it.
Yes. Well, everybody, it is 10:30. Thank you so much once again for staying with us. You know what's crazy is that despite the fact that this is probably the lowest viewed stream we've had in a while, and yet we have 99 likes. To me, what that says is that this is without a single doubt the most uplifting, collaborative, and amazing community in all of crypto YouTube. You guys are absolutely the best. Lord willing, tomorrow, there we go, 100 likes. Lord willing, tomorrow, you no longer deal with pixelated Tim. We'll have the screens back up and cleared. I can't promise anything, but I'm hoping. Guys, we love each and every single last one of you. You guys are watching the most generous crypto YouTube channel and community out there. Make sure if you are not already, you're subscribed to the channel, as we are literally on the cusp of 3,000 subscribers.
The only retro show on YouTube.
Yes, there we go. Love you guys. You guys have a great rest of your Thursday. For anyone in Patreon, we'll see you this afternoon in bro time. With that said, though, you guys have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots that bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros. Army pipe, lethal on trade. Entries and exits, worthy of praise. Tim, the professor of the TA. Shouted out loud on the PA. T-Shrooms news, got the word. Doing better than what he deserves. Beamer, leave no evidence. Soon fly coop with his dividend. Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots that bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros.
Investing bros. Investing bros. Investing bros. Investing bros. Investing bros.